Hey guys, my name is Zach Fisher, and today I'm going to be talking about the SDG number 17, the life on land, and how that looks like just for the world, and how does it really impact it. So yeah, let's get right on into it. So the first thing I want to talk about is the different ways we can use technology to impact this SDG of life on land. So there's four main topics I really wanted to get into. The first one being big data. So obviously with all the information that's going to be about the life on land, the different researchers that are going to be researching this topic, they're going to need a huge database to be able to store everything. Then there's drones that can really help with so there's a lot of areas that have been deforested within tropical rainforest, within here in America, or just wherever in the world. And they actually have drones that allow to plant seeds of trees throughout those, and have been used to really introduce forest areas back. And then with 5G, it allows different researchers to connect and really just being able to figure out like what's the best way to pursue this. And then with robotics, there's a lot of different ways with drones and stuff like that to be able to say like, okay, what's a really cool way that we can introduce life back on land with robotics. Just a basic overview. 10 million hectares forests are destroyed yearly, and 90% of that is actually due to agricultural expansion. So, like your farmlands or your cattle, stuff like that. And then 40,000 species are at risk for extinction within the world. And so, like, just to think about that, like, that's a pretty crazy number, and like, just to see like how big of that number is. And then half of the land areas are protected right now within the world, but just to think about like how that's only half, and like that we have to have half of the land areas protected is a pretty substantial amount. And then across the globe, with just comparing two different countries, I chose United States and Sweden. With the United States, we see that 33.9% of the country is covered in forests, and there's only been about a 0.17% growth seen within the last year. So that's a pretty small number to look at and to see like, wow, there's not a lot happening over there. And our risk of extinction level, based off of the red scale, is a 0.83. So there is a little bit of a risk there. And then with Sweden, there's a 69% covered in forest. So there's a lot more forest coverage there in that country, but it's actually deteriorating at a negative growth rate. And then the risk of extinction level there is actually really low. So it's only, the closer to one, the lower the level of extinction is. So yeah, it's actually doing really good. So yeah, thank you guys for listening. And yeah, that just kind of goes over a really basic overview of what life on land looks like and how that technology could be introduced to these things. So yeah,